What's up? Welcome to Tuck Rule Takes, episode 37, the Rodney Harrison episode of Tuck Rule Takes. Again, there was drop. In my eyes, there was no other name. I know Damian Harris is number 37, but there's just it's Rodney Harrison. The Rodney Harrison episode. I am Mike Sullivan.
MVP, or Super Bowl
you have
champion.
to, yeah. But do the fight thing. With me, as always, Liam McDade. Liam, it's redundant. I ask you every Tuesday, but how's it going?
It is it's swell is the word I would use. Swell. I went to 2 Celtics games last week, and now this week I'm just kind of coasting. It was nice today. I went out and suntanned, if you can tell by my incredible Irish complexion.
You did. I did as well. I think it looks a little bit more on me. It was what was I think 90 and a little humid today. So I don't know if it got
61 here. So basically the same thing. Okay,
so kind of the same. You just flip the number around, the 9 and the 6. Yep. That's all. Yep. That's all it was. So it is technically the same weather. But I think we should have started this podcast with blowhorns and confetti and all this stuff. The Patriots did it. They signed a receiver. They went out there, and not only did they sign one, they traded for one. They say, you know what, we want you so bad, we're going to get you. The Patriots got DeVante Parker from the Dolphins for what I just realized right before this podcast, a 3rd-round pick for next year. And they got Parker and then a 5th-round pick for this year, which that 3rd-round pick, though, I did see next season. It's like they didn't even give it up because they're most likely going to get a 3rd-rounder in return for J.C. Jackson in the compensatory formula. Yeah. So they literally gave up nothing to get DeVante Parker, who well, actually, before we even dive into how he is, I'm pumped. I have always liked DeVante Parker. He torched Gilmore when he played him last time. He always seems to do well against the Patriots, which is I feel like that's kind of the sign that you'll eventually be a Patriot. How do you feel about this trade? Because I've seen pretty much all good reactions, maybe people not as excited as I think they wanted to be or whatever. But what do you think? DeVante Parker, number 11. Is he going to wear number 11? How do you feel about this?
That's the biggest thing that I was hung up on. It is he wearing number 11? I think the odds that he wears number 11 are a fat 0. There's no chance. To think that they wouldn't retire Edelman's number down the line is egregious. Yeah. So they're just going to kind of unofficially retire it until that glorious day comes when we have the ceremony that I will for sure be at wherever it is. So no, I don't think he wears number 11. I think he goes with Brandon LaFell's number. If we're taking bids right now, I think he goes 19. I think he's taken 19. I think his college number was 9. So that's where my intuition comes from. I think he bumps that up to 19.
Yeah.
If he does go number 9, no, he can't do number 9 because of Judon. So
Judon's number 9. Yeah, I'm sitting here trying to think. I'm like, we got someone number 9. Shit.
So it's either 13 or 19 in my eyes. I think he's going 19.
I think and we will bring up this guy later on. I think he takes a number from a receiver that is on the team that is going to be gone. And no, don't worry.
That's a good one too.
I know.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah. So, it's kind of like his number, but spoiler alert, it's cut in half. So maybe it's just 1. Maybe the number is 1. I don't know. But DeVante Parker, he's a kind of, deep threat somewhat. He can stretch the field. He's 6'3". I think, what is he? 6'3", 220. So, he jump balls. He's pretty much everything that we wanted N'Keal Harry to be. I think since 2019. And so, just anything since 2019, I believe I saw that he was 3rd in contested catch rates or whatever it was. So Jacoby Myers is actually high up on that list as well. I don't know why people are surprised. That's all Jacoby Myers did last year was make contested catches. But,
hey, when you're catching it, in the slot, you're going to be muddled up.
Yeah, you have to. But DeVante Parker, I'm pumped. I'm excited. I think this is a very Belichick Patriots signing. You get you get a veteran. He's been in the league for, what is it? 7. Let me see. He has been in the league for 7 years. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4,
since 2015.
Dumbass. I'm sitting there looking at it, say 7, and I'm sitting there like 2017. He's been in for 3 years. What the hell? But yeah, good contract too. He's due just over $5 million each year. That's his salary. So I like it. I have nothing bad to say about it. So other than the numbers, what number he's going to be. How do you feel about it? You like DeVante Parker on here? You think that really solidifies the room for the most part?
I am hopefully optimistic. As always, I feel like my role on almost any show that I do, I'm just like that on my Celtics one, which I was doing before this, hence the green button up. And now,
Celtics kicking ass, by the way, kicking ass.
best believe, oh my God, it's a bloodbath. They're
Love
just,
it.
mauling down teams, not even close. They absolutely massacred the Wizards on Sunday. Oh, just putrid,
Yeah.
putrid
Take it.
basketball.
But they end with 140, 144, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a 42
Ridiculous.
piece, 144 to 102 or something. Just heinous. You shouldn't be allowed to do that to other professional sports teams, but it's cool that they still massacre live killings and whatnot on TV. It's great for the entertainment value. It keeps us involved with our old gladiator heritage. But back to DeVante Parker. I always play the gloomy optimist in a sense, and that's what I'm here for once again. I think, like you said, this is textbook Belichick. Like, if you could have picked out a more perfect Belichick player, I'd be quite surprised. This dude just screams it, so much so that he wasn't on basically anyone's radar. I wasn't thinking about him. I figured the Dolphins were going to keep him, and that's how Belichick does it. He just looks for somebody who's been good but not great in the last couple of years that I can maybe take over the edge. No one's expecting. There's not going to be a high asking price. He doesn't want to outbid anyone, doesn't want to fight with anyone. He just wants to pick up guys that he thinks can ball. And this guy has all the potential in the world. This dude can come in. He's a speedster, makes contested catches, has no problem running over the middle, catching the tough routes too. He's another guy that's wildly versatile. His speed allows him to do anything that we put Kendrick Bourne in the same situation with. He's a big time addition to this offense.
Playmaker.
But I'm hesitant. This dude's never healthy. This guy there's a lot of issues here. I have in my notes his season games played numbers. They're not impressive. They're not.
I was
stellar.
just gonna ask you because I have it in a different thing pulled up. So go through it. What do you think? Because that was gonna be my next thing. Like with the injury, that's what people are talking about. It's like barring injury, this, that. No, I don't. I see it. I might see it a little differently. But what do you think? Because you said you got things pulled up there. So what's his games played and all that?
So he has only had 3 seasons above playing 10 games. It's subpar. This is a classic Belichick thing where it's like, if he can put it all together, he'd be stellar. Can he put it all together? The Patriots are great at spreading the ball around, almost load managing while you're still playing. So if he has an 100-yard game, he'll probably have a 30-yard game after, and he won't be a big part of the game plan. They're always thinking long-term to take care of their players. I think if there was ever a time for him to put together healthy seasons, it's in New England. But his first season, 4 games, second season, 8 games, third season, 12 games, fourth year, 7 games, fifth year, 14 games, sixth year, last year, or 2 years ago, 11 games, and then last year, 8 games. And the numbers are pretty damn good. 9 touchdowns when he played the most games he ever had. That's stellar. Imagine if he had played a full season. He maybe could have bumped that up to double digits. But then other than that, 1 touchdown in the 1 touchdown per year in each year before then. So 2018, 1 touchdown, 2017, 1 touchdown.
Yep.
There's no consistency to this. This is a classic. Will this happen? It's like stuck between a rock and a hard place because we didn't give anything up for him. So it's great. Now we have him. It's not like we have to worry about giving up a king's ransom for him. I'm not worried about what we gave up, a 3rd round pick, even if we weren't getting one back in the JC Jackson trade. I'm not worried about it just for the potential that he can give us. But that's a big if. He's only gone over 1,000 yards once, hasn't really got that close to it any other year. He had 800, which was the second closest for him. I don't know what we should expect from him. Should we expect, some of his middle of the road seasons here, which would be 87 targets, 56 catches, 745 yards, and 4 touchdowns? That seems like a realistic target for him, especially splitting time with many other offensive weapons in a run-heavy system. or are we going to get his explosive 2019, which was 1,200 yards, 9 tubs on 128 targets? He's been all over the board here, and he's an anomaly. I've been watched since we traded for him. I've watched every season, basically every snap that this dude had, because people are enamored with him. He had that big game as Patriots fan. Yeah, every Patriots fan loved him even before the trade because he roasted Stephon Gilmore, and everyone on the Patriots was like, "Who is this guy? What the hell is going on? He's destroying the defensive player of the year. Why is this happening?" So he already has a soft spot, and whether you love him or hate him, Patriots fans know who he is. If you could do that to Stephon Gilmore in his prime, the potential's there for him to be a top receiver in the league, to be completely honest. Like, very bold, but he could be a top 10 receiver in the league if he puts it all together, but he hasn't put it together literally once. Like, there's not one season where he's been fully healthy.
No. And like you said, the injury thing is definitely something to worry about, to think about. It just leads me, like, all the stats and stuff. And again, it might be just, I'm a Patriots fan. I always think Belichick's going to put you in a better position than any other team and all that. It's been mostly true for the most part, but do you think that maybe the reason that he got hurt, or I don't know exactly what all his injuries were, but for a while there in Miami, I feel like just he was such a big part in that offense. So it was probably one of those things. Maybe he was not getting overworked, but just he was really the focal point. So it was just he had to carry such an offensive load on his back. And I don't know, this in this offense, it's so weird because, like you said, we could get, the 2020 year where it's where is it, 103 targets, 63 catches, 793, 4 touchdowns. I think that you're going to be a lot closer to that than you are to the 2019. That's
exactly what I was thinking.
And to me, I don't think that's necessarily an indictment, because we've said it before about the Patriots and their offense, and even on defense too. When you come here, your numbers in most positions, your numbers don't necessarily show how much you produce for the team, how productive, how vital you were to it. I mean,
very few players that can come to the Patriots and show out.
Exactly. Who can come in and do that, and like to put up the Chandler Jones numbers or your JC Jackson numbers, or your
Wes Welker, just because he got volume.
Edelman when he was in his heyday.
Even Edelman during the regular season. In the regular season, Edelman got fairly pedestrian numbers for the most part.
He just got fed the ball so much. That was really it.
But in the playoffs, he would step up and be super clutch and would be fed the ball more. And he had a touchdown basically every Super Bowl. He was the go-to guy there.
Yeah.
But Edelman, no one's scrambling to pick up Edelman in fantasy football. No, he'd be injured a decent amount of the time. You might get a punt return with him too, which would incentivize you to get him more, but he wasn't blowing anyone away.
No. And I think that's when I say that I'm pumped to have him here and I like him, I think that he can just provide, big plays here and there. I don't expect him. And honestly, I don't, no, I said the word. I don't expect him to put up 1,000 yards or have, 900 targets or anything like that. I don't see that at all, because the offense, like you said, is run heavy. So you're going to get those runs. You also still have Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith on the roster. So Hunter Henry is going to get targets. Jonnu Smith is going to get the ball somehow, whether they use him more in the backfield or kind of sweeps or things like that. He's going to get the ball. You have Nelson Aguilar, assuming he's on the team. We'll talk about that, see if he might be on here or not. He's going to get the ball. Jacoby Myers is pretty much your Julian Edelman, who's going to get the ball a lot more. Kendrick Bourne as well. And then if they draft someone, I don't expect him to have, over 1,000. I would be fine if he's at almost the exact stat line of 2020. Maybe not even with as many catches, maybe a few less yards, but he is a piece to the offense. I look at this offense as I think I said it before, as a puzzle. It's not like other offenses where you have like the Chiefs, where they had Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, and then kind of everybody else would eat, if they were covered.
As a result.
I think this, everybody works together, where it's like some games Kendrick Bourne's going to get the ball more. Jacoby Myers might get it more. Some games you might run the ball.
That's all game plan oriented.
Exactly. I know how talented he is, how he can go up and get the ball, how he can beat people. He won't necessarily take the top off the defense like everybody says, but he can still be the deep threat there. Aguilar is really the guy that's going to take the top off the defense, which I think if Aguilar stays, DeVante Parker being on the team helps Aguilar a lot.
Scary business if both of them are on there. Yeah. I look at the yardage that Bourne and Aguilar had last year too. Bourne had an even 800, which is almost impressive that you can finish with an even.
It's like
number
he tried
like
to.
that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he runs out of bounds, so he exactly gets the 800. And yeah, I'm done for the season here. So he had exactly 800. Nelly had sub 500, just below, I believe. So looking at DeVante's yards, when he had Josh Rosen, he still had 300 more yards than Nelson Aguilar and just under the amount that Kendrick Bourne did. And just about every other year. So the year after that, still more than Nelly, still less than Kendrick, less than Nelly in 2018.
Yeah.
And more than both of them in 2019. Obviously, that was his 1,000-yard year. That was 2020, again, basically the same as Kendrick and just a good amount above Nelly. So the production he offers alone is almost more promising than the guys we have now, which is why people are probably so transfixed. They see the big plays. They see what he can do. He's had incredible catches. He destroyed, absolutely sunned Gilmore.
Stephon Gilmore.
So they see all this and they're like, this is our dude. We didn't get these big plays last year. Well, we didn't get that because, we had a game where we passed the ball 3 times and every other game we still ran a ton. So they didn't get the opportunity either.
That's the thing. And just kind of a sidebar, when people bring up, when they bring up any sort of offensive passing stat, when they talk about Mac Jones, when they talk about the receivers, you're really grading Mac Jones on a 16-game season, not a 17-game season. So I thought about that about a week ago. I want to bring it up here. So whatever his stats are, like you have to realize he did all that in in one less game than everybody else did. It just makes it makes his year like it just. I'm pumped to see Mac. And another thing with Mac, I know you saw it too. Mac Jones is working out right now in Tampa with Jacoby Myers, who looks, and I hate saying this word because it's like a bro word, but he looks yoked right now. Like Jacoby Myers, ripped. Kendrick Bourne, you even mentioned it, kind of skinny but ripped. Nelson Aguilar is there. JJ Taylor is there as well. And then I guess on that Instagram post, you know who commented on it? DeVante Parker. And then Nelson Aguilar said, see you this weekend or like see you tomorrow or something like that. So Parker's going down there too.
Baby.
Probably only a matter of time. He's probably, like it's just a drive. It's a couple hour drive. So I think
definitely a good couple hours.
That's another thing. I'm pumped that the receiver, they're already like, I'm not happy that you're working out like you should be, like you're doing your job, but the fact that you're doing it together, you're posting stupid Instagram videos, it just shows that they're having.
How much fun does Mac Jones look? He seems like he's such a personable dude.
He's a doofus, but he's like, but he also has, and like you can tell in the videos, then you can also tell just by how people talk about him, he also just seems kind of cool too, which is weird. I've never seen someone who gives off at the same time.
He's got a boyish charm, but he's very reserved. Yeah,
and he gives off vibes of like this little like immature little like, oh, I'm just happy to be here, but then also gives off vibes of like, oh, like you could probably walk into any locker room, people be like, oh, what up, Mac? Like walk in like you're the cock of the walk or something. Like
you see the joke that was made on the Instagram where Nelly was filming Kendrick Bourne. He's like, how much you weigh? And he was like, $190. And then Mac Jones goes, yeah, $120 of that's your chain. I was like, yes, like, give me that. So funny.
It's like the fact that and I think that's a huge, I think everybody can agree, huge part of your team succeeding is having that camaraderie. That's why offensive line need to stay the same, because they have that, like they hang out, they like it's they all go out for drinks, they all hang out, they all do this. I feel like that should be the thing with your receivers, your quarterback, your tight ends. Like I said, I'm sure Hunter Henry will get down there at some point. Hunter Henry just had a kid, so I'm sure he's not. Jonnu Smith actually did too. I think they both had kids last year.
No
if I remember
way.
correctly.
They must have planned something. They're like, new tight end room.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, because I know that Jonnu Smith didn't show up to a lot of the Patriots OTAs because he had a kid, like around that time. So this year he was saying that he is going to come down. I'm sure he'll be down there as well.
And as somebody who played football, I loved the summer workouts more than I loved being in the actual game and like the regular season practices and whatnot. Because you need it's not so serious. You're just out there working out. And if you're doing something that you love, like I loved football. That's why I'm on this show talking with you, because I love the game of football. And if you're going down there willingly, meeting up with your friends and going through this workout, for the most part, just like in the video, they're fucking around, they're joking. They're like, hey, there's some seriousness in there where they're like, I want you to run this route this deep and whatnot. And they're getting technical and they are learning things. They're practicing. Like I said, they're going through reps, working out, but it's a not serious environment. And that's the contrast you need, because on Sundays and Thursdays and Mondays, Mac's not going to be like, hey, skinny jackass, I need you to do this. He's going to be like, yo, Kendrick, what the fuck? Don't drop that. Like, it's going to become super serious, and they're not going to be all friendly on Sundays. So this is all building the relationship of, I know what he's like as a person. And then on game time, I won't get so mad at him when he's uptight and competitive. And I'm sure the other guys are like that too. But there are people that are different and whatnot, and different personalities clashing. Things like that are just so important for a team that you don't even notice. Mahomes and Juju were working out today too. It seems like it's that time where everyone's getting out there and getting after it. Oh man, I just love to see it. I'm jealous. I want to be out there throwing with them.
Right. You just see it because like you said, it's that thing where, you don't have Belichick or, anybody else kind of, and it's not an indictment on Belichick or the coaches. It's just like you said, you don't have that like parental supervision. You're really just out there, like kind of shooting the shit, like talking, but also like kind of, you can be more like, hey, yo, man, like, when I throw this way, and you're learning tendencies more. So it's like, okay, when I'm here, I know where Mac puts the ball. So I know where
instead of running 15 on the curl, it's like run about 12 and turn around over this shoulder.
Exactly. Yeah. And then I'm sure they're even just talking about like, but if I do get pressure, I am going to kind of throw out quick. So, once you get to about 12 and a half, look back real quick. Cause I may try to throw to throw a fade or something like that. And it's like, this is the shit that I think that helps progress the offense. And the part that kind of no, go. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna say, and for them to be working out with JJ Taylor too, who's like,
you asshole. That's what I was just gonna say.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. I was gonna say that is the wild part.
Because he might, realistically, he could get cut. I don't think he will, but he could not even make the team. So it's like, for them to it just shows like from the bottom of the depth chart to the top that they're all friends.
Yeah, dude, the fact that he's there now, do you think that means, and I think we can kind of agree it's going to happen, but do you think that this is kind of a sign that JJ Taylor is going to be more of a part of this offense? Because I know last season, the whole thing was, he just has to, he just has to fit in, just has to get kind of like the Stevenson thing where it was like, he just has to learn his things and all that. I think JJ Taylor is going to be not a crucial part by any means, but I do think he's going to kind of step up more and more. Maybe, James White might go, if anything happens with James White, or you might try a split time with them. I think it's very intriguing that JJ Taylor is also a part of this group. I don't know really what it means. I hope it means something good, because I do like JJ Taylor. He's shorter than me. And he's very good, quick, explosive, reminds me of Dion Lewis in a way. Not necessarily the electric catches and stuff, but
or the
just
love
the
of
way
my life like Dion Lewis was, but he's close.
Dion Lewis was awesome. I like Dion Lewis. Not as good as Danny Woodhead, but that'll be episode 39. Episode 39 is the Woodhead episode.
Yes, it is. Good head.
But you're goddamn right it is. I'm gonna try to get him on the podcast. Be like, Danny, I got a story for you.
Buddy. I don't think he would get on.
Get this. Your name crazy. But
to answer your question, unfortunately, barring injury, obviously if injury happens, I think so, but I don't think JJ is going to be a big part of the offense. Like, we wouldn't go out and get Ty Montgomery if he was, for some reason. That's why I think he could get Ty
Montgomery. Yeah.
He just seems like the odd man out. Granted, we are as likely to cut Ty Montgomery as we are likely to cut JJ Taylor. Either one is expendable.
Yep.
So they're both totally could be gone. But if I have to bet my money, unfortunately, I think there's the best shot that JJ gets caught.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that shot isn't likely, but I think it could happen.
Yeah, and it's not saying that we want that. I think I'd
kill myself.
What I think is going to end up happening, kind of similar to last year, where he's a healthy scratch. You keep him on the team because he is valuable, but does he play more? I don't know. It all just depends on how the running backs room shakes out. But to bring it all back, to kind of put a bow on the DeVante Parker.
Yes, and to put that bow, I hate that I keep cutting you off here, but I do have all his injuries listed.
Good. I was just going to come back and say I didn't look up his injuries yet, but okay, what are they?
So pour yourself a nice cup of tea and start reading Catcher in the Rye, because it's a long one, or a Harry Potter book.
Okay, let's go. What are they?
Okay, so this is, holy shit, this is before his, I think this is before his rookie season even. Hold on, now I gotta quickly look up his stats again.
Yeah, but injuries,
I know.
As long as
is, holy shit, this is before his rookie season. Oh man. So this isn't good. This is an extensive injury report, which we like extensive.
Great.
So he had a shoulder and AC joint sprain in 2013, his his sophomore year of college.
Okay.
So then we fast forward to his last year of college. He fractured the 5th metatarsal in his left foot during practice. Missed the first 7 games of that season.
Okay,
not good. So foot seems to be a weakness for him, because in his rookie year, he broke a screw in his surgically repaired that same foot and that needed to be replaced. He missed the first 3 preseason contests, but returned for the 4th. So not significant time there. But he was lucky it was during the preseason.
Okay. I'm a little, okay. All right.
Hesitant. And here's where we get into the suspect injuries. Missed camp time and skipped the preseason opener with a hamstring pull. Again, not significant time, but he's got a lingering hamstring injury. Later in that same year, 2016 now, so we're on to his second year, hurt his back in week 12, but started the following game. So it wasn't bad. He hurt it. It was a lower lumbar sprain. It wasn't too bad that he had to miss time, but he still hurt it. It was on the injury report. Then he tore scar tissue in his repaired left foot. We're back to the left foot again.
We're back to the foot.
Yeah, so left foot is something we got to look out for. Missed 2 games. The following season, Parker missed the final preseason game, a regular season opener with a left hamstring injury again. That left hamstring, so left foot, left hamstring. He's got a fucked up left leg in general.
Yeah. We just got to get him a whole new left situation.
Yeah,
everything just replace it.
I have a great left leg. My right one broke, but I can give him my left one. It would look stupid because he's black and I'm white, but we can make this work. Probably different lengths as well too, so that would be
yeah. He'd walk with a limp. So
yeah, it's all right. I'm sure he could still ball. So then in 2017, we're in his 3rd year in the league, sprained his right ankle in the first quarter of week 5 and missed the next 3 games. Damn, grade 2 ankle sprain.
That's a tough sprain. God, this dude, legs like jello.
Bad. Oh my God. And then there's no love in the hand department either. So we're on year 4. All 4 years he's had an injury. Yep. A finger fracture. He broke his middle finger on his right hand in training camp, sat out the final 3 preseason contests and the first 2 of the regular season. So 5 combined games. And then we're back to the left leg. Is still in his 4th year. Later in the season, thigh and hamstring strain, which kept him out 1 game. Another thigh and hamstring strain in 2020. So then a bunch more injuries in 2020. Thigh hamstring strain, groin strain, another hamstring strain, and then in 2021 missed 3 consecutive games as he tended to a shoulder injury, and his most latest injury was a hamstring strain, which he missed 3 games last year. So his left leg is treacherous.
So all I'm getting out of this, man, he's a tough son of a bitch. He plays.
Look at this list right now. Can we just look how
that's absurd. You just keep scrolling and scrolling
and on.
Okay, so
still going. We're still
we
going.
still go grade two hamstring.
Yeah.
So let me try to be a little positive here. I don't think that he is going to be asked to carry any sort of heavy load here because he is in a room with Kendrick Bourne right now, as of right now. Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Jacoby Myers. I won't bring up he who shall not be named,
Please.
and DeVante Parker himself. So it's 4 receivers, 2 tight ends. You got to hope that maybe the lessened workload is going to, because it seems like that like hamstring injury seems like an injury that kind of comes up when you're working it a lot. You know, I feel like you can kind of manage that a little bit. I'm not saying he's going to play every game because that seems like a foregone conclusion that he is for sure not going to. But
no.
I don't know. Again, call it just because I have like my Patriots sunglasses on. I don't actually, but they're just always on. Like, I feel like he's not going to get as injured because he's not going to be asked to play so much. His legs, his left leg in particular, bad. Like you said, hamstring, ankle, screws in his foot. Like, well, I mean, I'm still not worried. I am reluctant to be as excited as I would be if he was healthy. I still think it's a great signing. It's awesome that he wanted to be here too. He put that out there that he wanted to come to the Patriots. Just another nail in the coffin of the nobody wants to play for the Patriots without Brady
Imagine
argument.
That.
Yeah, I'd have crazy. But did you see before? Because I want to ask you what you think about his injuries too, since you just listed them all. I'm sure you're tired, so I'll give you a second from reading and talking about them all.
Reading takes a lot of energy out of me.
You see Judon's tweet to him. He like tweeted to DeVante Parker, and it was something with like, I don't know, some sort of gift basically saying like, yeah, good thing that you're here, whatever. DeVante Parker said something, and then Judon replied back, and he was like, yeah, let me know if you need anything. I'm basically the GM now. He's like, again, just
he is not a good one, but he is.
I love Matthew Judon. Love him. Like the guy, he did something. I think it was a couple weeks ago where like McCourty tweeted replied to one of Judon's tweets where he was trying to recruit someone, and McCourty was talking shit or something like that, and Judon was like, either help out or shut up, like something like that. And it's like, I just like because like it's hilarious. Like it's
Dude,
all
he acts
in
like
good
he's
fun.
been a Patriot forever, and I love
it's
it.
Awesome.
Like, I'm all for it.
I literally picture him getting up in the morning, putting on his Patriot robe, sitting down at the computer with his glasses
that has red sleeves on.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Probably no. He probably has the sleeves cut off, so he has the red sleeves. He just sleeps with the red sleeves on.
Yes.
Sits down with his coffee, sips it, does the little cracking of the fingers, and goes, "All right, who are we gonna try to get today?" And then he just sits there for hours and hours and hours, just like a writer trying to write a book who has writer's block. Yep, just trying to get people. And guess what, guys? He finally.
I wish somebody would give him a chance. Like I bet none of these other free agents talk to him, give him a chance. Like, hey, what's New England like? Because it just seems like they kind of look at his tweets, or maybe don't even see them at all, and kind of laugh them off if they do. It's like, man, like if he's trying this hard, he wants to win. The culture wants to win.
Like, come on. He tweeted Bobby Wagner, and he said something where he tweeted like, "You guys hear the Patriots signed Bobby Wagner." A couple hours later, he signed with the Rams, and then he replied to his own tweet and said, "Yeah, me neither." That like he didn't hear that the Patriots signed with him, and it's like, dude, he's trying, and like you said, I'm sure that like there. I think DK Metcalf interacted with him, I think a little bit, but there's like to take it a little seriously. Like you said, someone's got to reach out to him. Like, hey, so.
How hard is it to have a conversation? Like somebody just be like, just kick the tires on the idea. Like, hey, Judon, like, what's it like? Because I'm sure he has a great sales pitch waiting. I just don't think he's got to use it.
He probably got PowerPoints. He's probably got, like you did in school when you had like the headline, like come flying in on like a rainbow or something, or like boom, 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 like falls down from the top of the page or like some shit and like spins,
swirls
and,
like, in,
comes out from the background. He's got that shit going on. He's just gonna be like, guys,
100%.
Get this laser, like a little laser pointer.
Gets an A++ in my book.
I love Judon. I don't hold him accountable for the defenses. I think it was just a failure on all fronts last year when the defense kind of shit the bed. Unlike a lot of people with him and Mac Jones and stuff, I love Judon. I think he's going to do great this year. He better, if he's assuming the GM role, he better play well this year. So,
I expect nothing less. Dude's a freak of nature. He's pretty much the Terminator.
Yeah, I love him. So kind of like I said, all the injury history aside, or no, even with the injury history, I'm pumped DeVante Parker's here. Kind of that's my bow on it. I'm happy. I think he's going to be a productive part of the offense. Even when he does miss some games, I still think it's going to be fine. I'm not expecting him to be healthy for every game. If he does, that's just the icing on the cake. What do you since you listed out his injuries, what do you see with him going forward? How do you think he's gonna what is your bow that you would put on top of this? Like, do you think that he's gonna be a good productive? Do you think he's gonna get hurt? His hamstring is gonna actually fall off the bone? Like, what do you? It's a possibility. It's a real possibility.
So channeling my inner football guru of numbers here, I am going to say that he plays in 12 games, which would be 2 shy of his season high in games played. He plays in 12 games, has 800 yards and 7 touchdowns. I think he becomes one of those players where Mac just feels comfortable with him. He puts in the work early. He joins the guys and they all get together. I think this is a good building block year for him. What I'm really looking forward to is not this upcoming year. It's that second year of his deal where he's going to be fighting for a new deal, whether it's on the Patriots or elsewhere. When he's motivated, he played out of his mind in his last contract year with Miami, which was the 1,200 yards, 9 touchdown year. Mm-hmm. When he has even better connection with Mac and a medical staff that I like to say I trust, I think then he puts together perhaps his first full season ever. I think the year after that, he puts together perhaps his first full season ever, maybe just shy. I think he definitely gets his high for games with like 15, 16 games played. And that's when we get an official number 1 receiver back where it's him. He gets 1,000 yards, gets 10 tubs. I think that's coming in his second year just to build the rapport. But next year, it's clear cut. Like when we signed Kendrick Bourne, that's not a number 1 wide receiver name. He's a number 1 wide receiver on a team that went to the Super Bowl, but that's not a number 1 wide receiver name. Yep. Other teams don't look at him as a number 1 wide receiver. He's a wide receiver 2 playing wide receiver 1. Nelson Aguilar is a slot receiver for the most part who can go deep. He's evolved from what was a slot receiver to now an outside guy, but he's not a number 1 receiver either. No. He was a complimentary guy in Oakland. He's still a complimentary guy here. As much as I would build a team
Super Bowl
around him and give him a max contract, yes, he is. Damn right he is.
Yep. Everybody wants to get Mac Jones a Super Bowl champion. He's got one, but keep going.
He does. So I think it's just that aura of having a number 1 wide receiver. And I think DeVante Parker can be that guy. He's got all the tools. He just needs to put it together. And who am I to doubt the New England Patriots organization, the most successful franchise in all of football? If I were to sit here and say that our team, our organization would do him wrong and not use him to his max potential, it'd be disingenuous on my part, and I'd be lying to myself. I think there has to be something there. Bill loves him, and Mac is going to love him. He's going to emerge as that number 1 wide receiver. Maybe not next year. We still split the yards. We still have that. Mm-hmm. But the year after that, when we shed some weight, whether we still have Harris then, what our running back room looks like then, I figure it'll probably be Stevenson and James White the year after that, Devontae's last year. Then it'll be a little less run oriented, and it'll be time to unleash Mac on everyone. It's like, Mac, just go get him. This is your Tom Brady 2006, 2007 year. Go attack him. Throw the shit out of the ball. Throw to your favorite guys. I don't care about spreading the ball around. I'm not going to say Moore needs 5 targets, Snelly needs 4, Hunter needs 9. Do whatever you want. Force some balls deep to him if you have to. I think that second year is big. So I'm going to remain the gloomy optimist and say next year might be a rough ride. I think he will miss games. I think I projected he misses like 5 or 6 next year. He very well could miss like 8. But then we're back to this year, which wasn't that bad. So
yeah. And I think it means something that he wants to come play with Mac Jones, because you can say he wants to come play for the Patriots. That means he wants to play with Mac Jones. That's exactly what that means, because it's not like he's coming here like, wonder who the quarterback is. Like, no, Mac Jones is the quarterback moving forward. He's coming here to play with him. So that's going to be a nice confidence booster for Mac Jones,
why wouldn't you want to build something? You have the opportunity to build something.
Well, people for some reason are sour on the Patriots building things right now, just because last year ended on kind of a sour note, which of course it did, but you got to shake the cobwebs, people. You gotta like get back in the zone. And another thing you got to do, stop fucking wishing that OBJ comes to this goddamn team. I'm sick of it. This is the second week in a row. I've seen it. I've seen people in texts, in group chats, in Twitter, in person, not really in person because everybody in Florida, it's March Madness. So everybody cared about that. But just DeVante Parker came here and people were still like, I wonder if that really, I wonder if that kind of exits things for, OBJ, or I wonder that. Stop. OBJ comes here. He's coming off his second ACL surgery on the same ACL, on the same thing. He is worse than DeVante Parker. DeVante Parker at least just has like sprains and hamstrings. OBJ tore his ACL on the same foot. The same leg. Why do you want him here? He's not going to be able to produce until at least December at the earliest. And that's if everything goes perfect. That's if he comes back perfect from, again, his second ACL. And at that point in December, the wide receiver room is going to be pretty comfortable where it is. You're not going to all of a sudden drop the bomb that is OBJ in there and then have him trying to, fight for targets. And I'm not saying he'd be an issue, because I think that he's past that stage in his life, or in his football life, where he kind of causes issues, but just his presence alone would be an issue for a second year quarterback who does want to make his offense happy. He wants to make people happy who are here. OBJ was never, now if he wasn't hurt, give me OBJ. Obviously, I'm cool with him. I would love to have OBJ here if he wasn't hurt. But he's hurt. That takes him off the board to me, because if you want to get OBJ, that means that you'd have to you wouldn't give him a 2-year deal, because then that would really just be a 1-year deal. Because I'm talking this year, to me, the upcoming year is just a wash with him. So you'd have to give him either a 2 or 3-year deal. Are you cool with giving OBJ a 3-year deal? Absolutely. I'm not, unless it's at a very, very, very small dollar amount, and he's not going to take that dollar amount because he's Odell Beckham Jr. He should go try to get the bag. The pipe dream, and I told you last week, it's because the Photoshops look so goddamn good with OBJ in a Patriots jersey. He's not coming.
Crisp.
Stop. No BJ. #no. Well, I mean, Danny Woodhead would.
Well, okay. I don't think there'd be much traction with that hashtag.
Take the hashtag no BJ out there. No OBJ. Just no OBJ. No hashtag. Just no OBJ. Now, do you think that this? I think with the Patriots draft, because the Patriots, we're going to dive into the draft, like actually who we think they'll pick and everything next week in the upcoming weeks to the draft. But as of right now, the Patriots have a 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 5th, 6th round pick right now. So they got a lot of picks. Do you think that this move frees them up in the 1st round to do really anything they want, because I think before DeVante Parker got here, people were like, they should try to draft a receiver in the first round. Now I feel like I'm cool with taking a receiver in day 2, whether it's Mechie, whether it's William. I don't think the other Williams is going to make it, the other Alabama guy, but I'm cool with taking a guy in the second round. Then if anything, I don't really want a receiver in the first round necessarily. Now, like if you get someone good, I'm not going to hate it, but I mean, shit. Why not try to draft a corner, draft one of these dynamic linebackers? I think that the Parker move does more than just kind of solidify the room. It also gives you freedom in the first round where you can also trade out of the first round. Patriots fans, buckle your seatbelts. They might trade out of the first round. So do you think that they should still really be targeting a receiver, or just kind of play it by ear when it comes up? If it's like, hey, we have this person X, Y, and Z, but so-and-so is here. Should we take him? I think that Parker being on the team makes it so receiver is not necessarily a need through the draft this year, at least.
I was hesitant on wide receiver being a need even before we got Parker, and now that we got him, I think it's the metaphorical nail in the coffin. We have Kendrick Bourne and Nelly under pretty big deals. Whether we're going to move one of the two or whatnot, they're here to stay at least for a little bit. I think the Patriots kind of go with the old-fashioned route where they're going to use the top of the draft for kind of random do-it-all. Like we took Jamie Collins in the second round with a high second round pick, and he was some kind of no-name, versatile linebacker out of Mississippi, Southern Miss, I think it was, either Mississippi or Southern Miss, but I remember everyone being like, who the fuck is this guy? And then he ends up being great. That's a classic Patriots pickup where they get some random dude that wasn't a top scout on most radars, and he ends up being very productive for years and years and years. I don't think that there's a need for a wide receiver now until the later stages of the round. I mean, Wes Welker was undrafted. Edelman was late. I'm pretty sure, unless Edelman was also undrafted.
Was it? No, wasn't he a 6th-round pick, Edelman?
Yeah, sure, then something like that. Yeah, and Wes Welker was undrafted. Like, there are so many receivers that can be capable that don't get drafted, and Bill knows that. Most of the great receivers in general were late round picks. Shannon Sharp was like a 7th-round pick. There are so many guys late in rounds that you can pick up that there's really no need to kind of ball out and try and get one of these top pick guys, because then you run the risk of them being like N'Keal Harry, and you have to keep him on the roster for years and years and hope he develops. If you get a 5th, 6th, 7th-round guy and they ball out of control, then you look like a genius. If they don't, then you cut them and no one really thinks twice about it. So I think the Patriots kind of have a tried and true system there, where if I was the GM, I'd be doing the same thing. I'd be like, all right, who's the wide receiver from Buffalo that's balling out? Oh, okay, yeah, we could take him in like the 6th. Like, he has potential and stuff like that. Jamison Crowder, very serviceable now, was a late round pick out of Duke. Like, there are good wide receivers anywhere.
And Crowder was being talked about how, we got to get Jamison Crowder. And it was like, well, calm down. So, yeah, I mean, you can find a receiver in the later rounds for sure. For sure, you definitely can, which I think is, I mean, that's something I think the Pats should do. Yeah, like you said, I don't know. I don't see it being a need in the draft. Now, again, I still, at the end of the day, I want John Mechie on this team. I know that it's become like the name everybody says. Him and Mac are friends. Like I want it. I want one of those Bama receivers. That's really what it comes down to. And it's really just because they're Alabama. Mac was with Alabama. I mean, there's no other crazy reason why. Now you mentioned if Aguilar is still on the team, we have to have the talk, Liam. So
I never like those words.
Take a seat. I see you're already seated. Thank you. Now Nelson Aguilar, great player. I like him. Hated him when he was on the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Trash team, trash everything. I do not like them.
Interpretation.
I didn't. No, it's not. I did not like that he. I did not like that he balled out in the Super Bowl in which he beat the Patriots.
Had a Super Bowl record for catches.
We don't need details. This is my story.
You asked.
I did. Nope. Did not ask at all, sir. I said stay seated. Now,
did you ever see in the Super Bowl when him and Torrey Smith ran crossing routes and high-fived each other in the crossing routes, and Nelly caught one that went out in the flat for a first down?
Did you see the Oscars how Will Smith high-fived Chris Rock in the face? Because I think you are cruising for a bruising, pal. So I think you need to shut up. Yes, I did see that. It was annoying as shit, but time removed, I can say that's pretty fucking cool.
I'll be looking for you in the next G.I. Jane movie then.
I'll see the joke that started it all. So with Nelson Agholor, kind of, I don't want him traded. I think we were both on the same page there. I think he can be a good part of this team. I think he's a good deep threat. Mac wasn't really accurate as much throwing to him deep. So it's really not all on Nelson Agholor. He was a little banged up. He did have some injuries too, some nagging injuries a little bit here and there.
And if we're going to give Jalen Mills the injury pass, then Nelly deserves
I will always give Jalen Mills the injury pass. We'll see. Hopefully this year he's good. If not, he gets another year. Now, Nelson Agholor, the only reason that I even really want to trade him, if he gets traded, per Pat's Cap on Twitter, which the dude knows like the ins and outs of cap space, like it's his job, which I think it actually is. The Patriots would get $8.9 million in cap space if they traded Nelson Agholor. Liam, I saw your face when I said that number. That is a big number, my friend. That is a big number. I don't care if you extend Hunter Henry. I don't care what you do. Nothing is giving you the cap space that would give you. Again, I do not want him to be traded. But $9 million is a big cap relief to get. I think it's time we come to the conclusion that there is a very good chance that on draft day, a little before draft day, Nelson Agholor gets traded for a 3rd round pick, a 3rd and a 5th, free up some cap space.
That'd be a gross underpay. We should be demanding a 1st or at least 2.
3 ones. I don't know. Whatever you can get. In real talk though, I don't know where I stand with him, because I could very much see him staying, because I don't think that Belichick thinks that he sucks by any means. But I could also see Belichick being like, listen, I traded Shaq Mason, buddy. I'll fucking trade your ass real quick. Like,
true.
It is $9 million in cap space. They're going to have to get cap space somewhere here.
Okay. What are they going to use that for? What do they need that money for?
Well, they need, assuming they stick with their draft picks, which they won't, they need just under $3 million to sign all their draft picks. So they'll probably trade some away. So they need probably just over $2 million to sign all their draft picks right around there. And then I think you need to go into the season paying your practice squad people too, which is a little bit as well. So they do need to get some sort of cap relief. They could like extend Henry. They could turn Judon's salary into a signing bonus. I saw that as well on Twitter too from Pat's Cap as well. So there's other things. There's other ways they can do it. If they trade Agholor though, I am expecting something big, because you're not just creating $9 million in cap space just to like bank it for next year or for something. I think if you're doing that, you're getting and now this is where it goes back to maybe I don't think he's going to be traded, because who are you going to go out there and get? Who you don't,
unless it's DK Metcalf, and then I understand.
If it's DK Metcalf, can you imagine DK Metcalf, DeVante Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Jacoby Myers with Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith? I will buy my Super Bowl ticket if the Patriots get DK.
Sounds Metcalf. Like the best receiving core in the league.
Holy shit! I don't or. What's his name? They're getting Brandon Cooks is getting calls on him, I guess, from the Texans.
Oh,
and what's his name? Tyler Lockett too, from the DK's little buddy over there. So those are the names, and really not even Brandon Cooks, because I don't think you need to trade Agholor to get Cooks. If you're getting rid of Agholor, I'm expecting a Tyler Lockett, maybe even a DK Metcalf, someone like that. Other than that, I don't think you get rid of him. I don't want to get rid of him. it's a very, very, very real possibility now that DeVante Parker's here. Liam, I do want you to talk to me about how you feel about this, though, because I know you love him.
I mean, what are the words that I could sum up to think about Nelson Agholor leaving? I mean, he came to my team. That was the greatest feeling in the world. So for him to leave, it's like, I mean, my best friend died in a motorcycle accident. I would be much more sad if Nelson Agholor was traded from my team. It's heartbreaking to me. Just the thought runs a chill up my spine and makes me want to pour myself a tall glass of cyanide. So I couldn't even fathom the idea. But there is kind of an odd man out here. It's a loaded wide receiver room now on a run-heavy team. So yep. Something's got to go. Myers isn't leaving. We know Myers is staying.
Yep.
Kendrick Bourne seems like the likely one to stay. His production was better. He was healthier. He kind of fits too. More. He has. No, I wouldn't. I don't know.
Well, he can do the throw. I know Agholor is very skilled, but just it seems like Bourne is more in the jet sweep, the trick plays.
We could run jet sweeps with Nelson Agholor. He's fast.
You could, but fast.
Come on. You've seen the Muhammad Ali soundbite of him talking about fast. Strong. I have. Nelson Agholor.
I like Nelson Agholor. I do still want that on record. I like Nellyville. Let's go. Nellyville and Foxborough. Good. I like it.
Yep.
I like it. But like you said, it seems like someone is the odd man out because you can't have four very, very serviceable all across the board, good and up receivers, and then also have two very good tight ends. Like you can't. It seems like this offense, and again, like now I'm just thinking about Bill Belichick playing with all these toys. Like I'm like you would think something has to give, right? But like I don't.
That's where I think is like the problem here, which makes me think it's fairly realistic. But I don't know. At the same time, are we really going to cut out on the Nelson Agholor rule before we get to see it? Every other year he balls out. And this is his other year. We're going into the other year with Mac Jones in his second year, more likely to throw it downfield, because our biggest criticism early in the season when he didn't have an offensive line is this is a lot of dink and dunk and not a lot of big plays. Patriots were not even close to the top of the league in big plays this season.
Nope.
When they did, they were running plays from Damian Harris.
Yeah. Yep.
Are we really going to take that potential away from Mac? Especially because I hate to even say it. Okay, say we trade Nelson Agholor at the draft or in the preseason or sometime.
It pains you.
Trust me, it's terrible. It's like drinking salsa with my eyes. But say we trade him at some point, and so we're rolling with Bourne, Myers, and Parker as the starting three. And Parker goes down. So then now we're down a receiver. And what are we going to rely on? Bring Christian Wilkins back in? Like, yeah, he could ball out for another 2 touchdowns for us, but I'd rather have Nelly, the human can opener, to take the top off the defense.
Exactly. So it's like there's an odd man out, but at the same time,
he's an insurance policy, if anything else.
There isn't an odd man, because how many games last year were there where Kendrick Bourne had 2 catches, or where Jacoby Myers is pretty consistent, but where, Agholor had 2 catches, or where, like I said, Bourne had a couple catches, or like there. So I'm kind of talking myself into him probably not leaving now that I'm thinking about it, because you got DeVante Parker, who, like you said, you ran through his litany of hamstring and left leg injuries for the most part, and a broken hand, which that was a random one. Like, come on, buddy, your injuries are below the waist. Come on.
Pull yourself together.
Agholor is a good, I don't even want to say he's an insurance policy, because I think he's just going to be another cog in the wheel that gets plugged and played. Like, I don't think that you're really going to have, like, I think the only person that's consistently going to be on the field is Jacoby Myers. I think between Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Agholor, DeVante Parker, they're all going to kind of switch, take some plays off, take a drive
everyone
off,
gets fresh legs.
Exactly. And then I think the only, or maybe even Hunter Henry and Jacoby Myers, I think those are the only 2 players that are going to consistently for the most part, be at the highest percentage of offensive snap counts by the time the year is over, because I just think that they're more crucial to what the team does. Myers is kind of the safety valve. Hunter Henry's the safety valve as well. Andy's a touchdown machine. I don't know. I think I talked myself out of it. I don't see Nelson Aguilar getting traded. I know that you got the 9 million. Bro, extend some people, put some signing bonuses out there, convert salaries. You don't need to,
don't do anything rash. Did the 49ers trade Jerry Rice when he was under contract? No, they didn't.
No, and I mean that's a little bit of a stretch, but I
for interpretation once again.
I sound like, and I hate that I just sound like, I sound like the fucking local reporters that like just want to trade away talent just because they either didn't perform or they want this mysterious cap space to do I don't know what, because and then it comes down to that. What would the Patriots do with this $9 million?
Yeah,
not really much.
That's my thing. Would you rather have the cap space, or would you rather have DeVante going down, and then we're just back to the year we had, which was pretty all right.
Yeah. And then, I mean, you have the same players, but now they're in the system for another year. No, fuck that. We are a pro. First time I've said this, I think. We are a pro keep Nelson Aguilar podcast. That's what we are right now. We are
welcome to the dark side.
We are
the good
we
side.
are three things at Tuck Rule Takes. We're four things, and the fourth thing will lead us into our last topic. We are four things. We are a biggest pro James White podcast you'll ever see, even more than
easily.
Don't want to bring up his family, but even more than anybody he knows. Biggest that one. We are a fucking pro Ronnie Perkins podcast. You bet your even if the majority of it comes from me, I will carry that burden.
It leaks down. I'm picking up on the Ronnie Perkins hype. I need to see him until I can pick up on this hype. But your feverish mentality is spreading.
Right now, you have the pre Ronnie Perkins. You need to see him to get the full ejaculate Ronnie Perkins.
Exactly.
Number 3, we are a pro keep Nelson Aguilar podcast. I think he's valuable. Now, anybody goes down, plug and play, or just keep him. No one has to go down unless it's Danny Woodhead. Heyo. Number 4. Now, see, that was a gay joke. See, I'm making this is so. Number 4.
We are on one today.
We are an very anti N'Keal Harry podcast. This, like I said, I wanted to save it to the end because it always puts me in a bad mood. Guys got to go. Launch him to the fucking sun. Trade him for a new football. I don't care what you trade him for. Trade him for, I don't know, what was it? Mac Jones said he got a flashlight for Christmas, and he loved that because his wife got. Trade him for 5 flashlights. No, a flashlight. A goddamn flashlight. He was pumped. He was like waxing poetically about it. They were talking to him, and he was like, yeah, the wife got me girlfriend got me a flashlight. I was pretty excited. I needed one. Dude, we will get you 10 flashlights, like the big ones too, like the ones that the cops use.
The
like,
nicest ones you can find. Yep.
The best flashlights.
The ones that you can use as a weapon.
N'Keal Harry, question for you while I look up what happens if we trade him, what kind of cap we get, what kind of cap relief we get. Why is he still on the team?
I think we're trying to give the illusion that we actually want to keep him. It's a smokescreen if I've ever seen it. And then on draft day, a team's going to be like, he's still around. They've kept him here. Classic New England. That he must be good at something. And then they'll look into him. They'll see that he's a great blocker, and they'll go, okay, so Bill likes this guy because he's a good blocker. This might be something we can take from him. Bill might be onto something here. He might be keeping a secret weapon from us. Let's kick the tires on him, see. And then they'll offer, like a 5th round pick, and hopefully Bill swipes that up instantly. Hell, maybe they're dumb enough to offer like a 4th. Definitely not a 3rd.
He definitely wouldn't. A 4th, I think would be stretching it. If he gets traded or cut, you get $1.19 million in cap space. Take it all day.
Beyond just the money, I sound like a commercial here. you get peace of mind.
Yeah.
If you trade N'Keal Harry, it is like having the ultimate burglar system in your house. Like the impervious, no one can break in, you're good. That is what you get trading Nelson Aguilar. That actually reminds me, this is slightly off topic. Did you ever hear about the guy in Texas? He lives on like a giant estate, and this dude broke into his house and tried to rob him, but his pets took care of the burglar.
No, what happened? What do you have? What?
So this dude takes a video, and it's on some really fucked up Facebook page that I follow called Pimps in the Hood that just shows a bunch of people dying in gruesome ways. And it's him. And he goes, whoops, looks like some poor bastard tried to break in last night. And he walks out into his backyard, and there's like a dismembered arm and just guts all over his backyard. His 2 tigers had got to the burglar before the guy even got to the house. There's a giant backyard. Yeah, and these tigers ripped him apart. So that is the peace of mind that you get when you trade N'Keal Harry.
I thought for some reason, I don't know why, I didn't think you were going to say dogs or anything. I thought for some reason you were going to say pigs. I thought you were going to say that the pigs killed him. I don't like.
I heard pigs kill people.
Because pigs eat like anything, you know, like you always see in the movies, like that's where people put like the bodies and stuff. But I was like, maybe he had like 2 warthogs and they like fucking tigers. Yeah,
they ripped him apart.
Let's send N'Keal down that way. Yep. And I don't mean to be mean. Mind. And like I know the dude is an A+ run blocker. Love it. Love you for that. No, I don't.
He's a better run blocker than most of our linemen, but that's not good enough.
But guess what, friend? Get the fuck out. Like, I don't.
Sorry,
done with him. I hate his stupid name. I hate every time I have to type his name. I have to type N apostrophe KEL. Yeah. It fucks up the vibe. I don't like it. It just he looks, because every time I see him, I always have that like thought in the back of my head where I'm like, yeah, but he looks like he should be good. Maybe this is no. Shut up, Mike. This is not it. He's not going to be good. This is not the year. Get him out. And you saw it, I think, what we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where it was like, I think just me and you texting. I don't think we talked about it here. Teams are interested in him.
Blows my mind. I don't know what they're seeing.
For what? Which
has to be something.
Like, I literally speechless. Belichick must be sitting back like, these idiots. I might be able to get like a 5th round pick. If you get a 4th for N'Keal Harry, sign all day. I will do the paperwork, whatever you need. I will drive him to wherever he needs to go. A 4th round pick.
I would take a long snapper. Give me something.
Hey, long snappers, vital, crucial part of the special teams game.
They are. The Buccaneers, long snappers from the town next to me.
No shit, really?
Yeah. Zach Triner.
Look at that. That I guarantee you, there's Bucs fans that don't even know that name. So this is
no.
That look at that. You learn things.
Look at that.
I think a 5th round pick wouldn't even be bad. Belichick has had some good 5th round picks. I can't name them off the top of my head, but I know he's had some good late round picks. 5th, I think he could probably snag the next starting offensive lineman for the next 2 or 3 years, 3 or 4 years, you know, once that guy starts in the 5th round. I don't see why not. I know that I wrote an article about all his picks a while ago. I should just always have that up when we start talking about his picks, but I forget what it was. I know he's had some good 5th round picks though. I would welcome a fit. The only way I'd be kind of upset is if it was like a 6th, because I'd be like, you go from like wasting a 1st round pick to a 6th round pick. Like that seems like a little bit of a jump.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of these late round picks here. James White in the 4th, obviously.
Let's go. Fine with that.
Trey
pick.
Flowers, obviously Tom Brady.
Trey
Rob
Flowers.
Ninkovich.
Trey Flowers might come back. I wouldn't hate seeing him.
Yeah,
hold on.
That'd be cool. Not opposed. Matthew Slater was a 5th round pick. Talking about value.
God, did you see Belichick's quote saying that Matthew Slater is like the Tom Brady of the offense, or like the Lawrence Taylor of the?
Yes, I did see
that.
I'd be lying if I said it didn't get me wet.
Yeah, no, you can't. I don't even. God, this is a very sexual podcast again.
It was. Speaking of sexual, a 5th round wide receiver pick the Patriots took, Malcolm Mitchell.
Loved Malcolm Mitchell.
Every second bad.
I feel bad that he kind of, he kind of shit the bit. Yeah, that he had some sort of not mental issues because that sounds crazy, but just the fact that he had some like something happened with him where he wasn't doing
so good.
Well, yeah, I
remember looking it up.
I don't know. He played a crucial part in that Falcons Super Bowl coming back.
He did.
Crucial part.
I'll never forget. He had a long touchdown against the 49ers. Tom Brady thread the needle to him up the seam.
That play, I can watch that play 10 times and I still get lost when the ball gets there because it doesn't look.
It went between like defenders. I'm pretty sure a dude almost picked it off.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it should get like, and then all of a sudden Malcolm Mitchell's just running with it. It's so yeah, just to kind of bring it up. So 5th round picks that he's had, like you said, Matthew Slater, Marcus Cannon, good pick. Dan Copen, real good pick. Jawan Bentley just signed a deal. Jake Bailey, tremendous. Joe Cardona, long snapper. Hey, there we go. Get him. Zoltan Mesko, liked him.
Loved.
6th round pick. Justin Heron. I'll never know. Mike Onwenu, Ted Karras, Nate Ebner, Landon Roberts. And then 4th round. I mean, God, James White, Malcolm Mitchell, Aaron Hernandez, Cam Fleming, Shaq Mason, Dietrich Wise, Trey Flowers, Asante Samuel, your boy, Jarvis Green, and
Mr. Pick 6 was a 5th round pick.
No, a 4th round pick. A 4th round pick for those ones that I just said. So people like if you so Belichick getting these 4th or 5th round picks, you can't just dismiss him right off the bat because he hits on a fair amount. Again, just to kind of go, Jarrett Stidham was also a 4th round pick. PK Sam was also a 5th round pick. So, I just, if you can get anything for N'Keal Harry, you have to take it. The dude requested a trade last year. He is the odd man out, if anything. If Nelson Aguilar gets traded before him, that's just you can't do that. You have to get rid of him before you get rid of anybody else.
Might have to find a new franchise to support if that's the case.
Yeah. I mean, maybe the Cowboys or something, right? But so the Patriots receivers room right now. Kind of before we get out, I just want to know right now. I want to know your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10. You got DeVante Parker, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, and Nelson Aguilar. I know you got Wilkerson on the practice squad. I know N'Keal Harry's still here. I'm just naming the top 4 because that's really the main guys, not including the tight ends, different position, obviously. So those 4 guys, say those are the guys you roll in there with. Say they don't draft a receiver, say nothing. What's your confidence level? How do you feel? Scale of 1 to 10 going into the year with those 4 guys.
I mean, we have Nelson Aguilar, so obviously it's a 10, or it starts at a 10 with him. I mean, realistically,
got to go down from there.
Yeah, 100%. And then N'Keal Harry brings it down about 6 notches. No, if you look at the wide receiving cores across the league. So what are the other great receiving cores in the league? It used to be the Chiefs that kind of broke it up. Juju, Travis Kelce, and all them. Yeah,
the Chiefs have McCole Hardman and Juju.
He's this beast. And they got somebody else too from life. They still have Josh Gordon. Yeah,
the Dolphins got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. That's really it.
That's big time.
I'm not bringing Broncos. Tight ends. Because if you want to bring tight ends into the situation, the Patriots will wash you.
Yeah, 100%. So then I look at the Broncos, which is Cortland Sutton, who's a beast, Jerry Jeudy, who has a lot of potential, and Tim Patrick, who's really good. I would say that might be the best receiving core. And then the Chargers are up there as well with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, but that's only 2. I think a big depending factor is where Julio Jones goes, because say he goes to the Bills or something, then they got Julio, they got Stephon, and they got
Robert Woods.
No,
Emmanuel
Sanders.
Not
he went to the Titans. Yeah. So Emmanuel Sanders, Stephon Diggs and then say they got Julio, that's scary. But for the most part, as of right now, pending a Julio trade, I got to say, we have a top 5 receiving core in
the
the
Raiders.
league.
The Raiders got DeVante Adams and Hunter Renfrow.
Yep.
That's good. Those two, are two.
And Brian Edwards or whatever his name is, number 89. He was killing it last year.
Yeah,
so that's scary too. So I'd say the Broncos are better than us. The Raiders are better than us. That's top 3 right there. I can't think of anyone else just off the top of my head. Obviously, I could do some digging, put together an actual list. But roughly speaking, we have a top 5 receiving core in the league. And there's nothing you can really tell me otherwise. It all just falls on the quarterback. We had a upper tier receiving core last year. They just didn't play like it because it was a run heavy system. Now we have another dude in there. And like you said, you bring in the tight ends, and it's a different metric, and we're still killing it. So,
dude, if you bring in the tight ends, you got Hunter Henry, who was, I think, either finished second or third. No. I think he was second, right, in tight end, or didn't he get bumped out? Well, either way, top 2 in touchdowns. You got Jonnu Smith, who his potential hasn't been tapped into. We know he's good. If you want to throw tight ends in there, the Patriots have a top 5 offensive weapon group. If you want to keep it at just receivers, I think they have a top 5 receiver group. And I don't even think that that's necessarily being
boisterous,
being a
honker.
Patriots
fans.
The only thing I could say is maybe you bump them out of the top 5 a little bit when you're talking about all their offense, because then you start talking about other teams' offenses and stuff, and that's a little different.
Yeah.
But then if you want to bring the running backs into and then they're right back up to top 5.
Yeah, exactly. So my confidence level, like I stand at a solid. Again, who am I to doubt the Patriots? If Bill is running this offensive system with all these weapons, it's as close to a 10 as you could possibly get. I'm sniffing a 9.4 right now.
Yeah. I'm gonna, I am I'm bouncing between 2 numbers right now. I don't want to give an even number. I am at a 9.1. I was bouncing between 8.9, 9.1. 9.1 because you got those 4 receivers. Jacoby Myers is going to be a beast for this offense. Maybe not stats wise, but he's going to be very good. Kendrick Bourne, kind of a, jack of all trades, can do a bunch of things. Nelson Aguilar, if he stays deep threat, I think he plays better. DeVante Parker, great. So if we're talking about just the receivers, I'm at a 9.1. If you add everybody else in there, I'm extremely confident. I am in the high 9s about the entire offense going into this year, but just receivers, I'm at a 9.1. I think even if one of them gets injured for, some period of time, as long as it's not the whole season, I'm ready to go. I don't think, and I say this in a loving way, I don't think Mac has any excuses. I don't think this offense has any excuses this year. Now, again, the first 4 games are always going to be rough. Every single year, that's how it is. So I'm going to try to say that once every episode moving forward. Everybody freaks out the first 4 episodes. The first 4 seasons. So calm down. It's going to be fine. I'm pumped. I can't wait for this offense to go in there. I can't wait to actually, break down the draft a little bit in the upcoming week and then talk about it next week, because that's going to be fun to do as well. So Liam, you said you're at what, a 9.4? Is that what you said for the receivers right now and everything?
Let's round up 9.5. I'm extremely confident. They really give me no reason not to. Like last year was damn good for what we were given for the production. I have no reason to believe adding a potential number 1 wide receiver to think otherwise.
Yeah, no, I'm not worried. I think the Patriots have their number 1. I know people view number 1 differently. They think number 1 is a number 1 name. That's not what it is. Number 1 is a receiver that can perform like a number 1 receiver in this offense. I think DeVante Parker can do that with everybody else wrapped into him, with everybody else wrapped in this offense. I'm excited. But I got, other than N'Keal Harry's got to get the hell out of here, I think I'm ready to get out. Liam, you got anything else to say?
Nope. I think we covered it all, man.
Nothing else. Yeah. So next week, we'll be talking about the draft. We'll probably do the same type of thing we did with free agency, where we'll start Actually, I don't even know how we'll do it. We'll go kind of round by round, or if you want to start on, who they should target offensively, defensively, something, we'll figure it out. But yeah, we'll definitely talk about the draft a lot more and go from there. But so for Liam McDade, for DeVante Parker, for Tuck Rule Takes, I am Mike Sullivan. As I said, this was episode 37, the Rodney Harrison episode of Tuck Rule Takes. Next week, draft preview, all that fun stuff. Other than that, got nothing else to say. Let's go. We out.